Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. This one we're going to be talking about, we're doing another completing categories episode. This time we're going to be doing two categories in one, where we're going to be covering the Barflies and Legal Eagles. So of course completing Barflies. So in Barflies so far, the only one we really have is Barney. He's the only one we actually have in Barflies. But to be honest, technically, Mrs. Muntz, the Capital City Goofball, Homer, Moe, Lenny, and Carl all technically could fit into this category as well. So I've sort of said, that's kind of, we already do have Barflies already in, tapped out, but there are a few that they can add. So to be honest though, the only two that they can really definitively add to this category is Moe's regulars, of course, Larry. This is Larry and Sam. These are the only two that they can definitively add to this category, which I know for sure I don't think will fit into any other category. And if they don't add both Sam and Larry to the Barflies category, I don't know what the hell they're doing, because what's the point of the Barflies category if it's just Barney? So these two guys really desperately need to be added to the Barflies category. The only reason I really want them added so bad is because I want to complete the Barflies category. I'm sick to death with Barney, poor old Barney, being on the Barflies category on his own for all these years. He needs some friends in there, guys. So Sam and Larry need to be added into the Barflies category. I think it's really important that they add them in there. However, there are a few other possibilities they could also add into the Barflies category. So, of course, we have Joe. Joe is actually the Shelbyville bartender who hosts Joe's, which is a parody of Moe's. And, of course, Joe himself is a bartender, so he could potentially fit into that. We have the Aristocrat. The Aristocrat owns the bar that's next to Moe's, or opposite street of Moe's, which is like a rundown bar for sort of like, tough guys and for bikers and stuff, I guess. Not for the average Joe like Homer, Lenny, and Carl. It's for like, I guess like gang members or whatever, but you can see what it looks like to kind of know what kind of bar he owns. So they could add the Aristocrat bar. You've only really seen the side of the bar, so it's kind of hard. It's like one of those buildings that have to complete in the game, but I don't mind it when they do that. So they have to add. I want them to add the Aristocrat bar. That's pretty bad, and then they could throw the Aristocrat either into business owners or into Barflies. I've probably been a business owners, but I mean, it is potential for Barflies. Lionel Hutz, he'd probably go into Legal Eagles, as you'll probably see in a minute, but he could, I guess, potentially go into Barflies as well, but I wouldn't want him to. We have Starla Starbeam. This is one I could see go into Barflies category. Of course, she is an alcoholic and she smokes like a chimney. We know this about her. She's seen Moe's quite a few times. Of course, she is Dolph's mother, and I think she used to be like a singer or something. I don't know. With Titania, I think that's how you say it. Of course, she's a barmaid at Knockers, so she could be a potential for Barflies. However, she's more of a waitress. She's more of a, she just serves the beer. She doesn't actually drink the beer. So I don't know, maybe not. Troy McClure is another guy. He's seen as an alcoholic, and he is an alcoholic, and he's seen there a few times. And of course, we have some crossover characters. We have Bender. Potential for Barflies if they were to add him in, which I hope one day maybe they add him. Of course, Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow, I haven't still yet got to play that because it hasn't come to iOS UK yet. But when I do, I mean, it would be cool if they did a crossover with the Futurama game and Tapped Out. And then finally we have Peter Griffin, again, another potential crossover character they could do. Of course, Peter Griffin is, as everyone knows, is an alcoholic. And there's all the other Family Guy characters as well, I guess you could include. But you'd probably, if they were to add Family Guy characters, you'd probably throw them into the other category, like a Family Guy category. So to be honest, out of all of these, the only one I can actually see going into Barflies is probably Starla. The Aristocrat and Joe could both go into business owners. Lionel Hutz can go to Legal Eagles. Troy McClure could go into B-list celebrities or whatever. Titania, I'm not too sure about Titania actually. Maybe Oddballs? I don't know, actually. Maybe she could. Bender would go into his own category, and Peter Griffin would go into a new category as well. So anyway, moving on, we have Legal Eagles. So, completing categories, Legal Eagles. So far in Legal Eagles, we obviously have Judge Schneider, and we have the blue-haired lawyer. The only two characters who have been there, of course, they were added in the same level, so they kind of fit into their own category. I do like the category. I think it makes sense to add lawyers and judges, so of course it will only be lawyers and judges we add into this category. So first of all, let's go. So we have lawyers. So we have Portia, who's apparently a lawyer. I don't even know where this character's from, to be quite honest with you. But they could throw her in there. Should be an interesting one to see. I don't actually remember, to be honest, but whatever. We have the district attorney. He is the district attorney for Springfield. Of course, the DA, very important, and of course he is a lawyer himself, so he could go into Legal Eagles if they were ever to do. He could come into 4th of July quite easily. It would be, it'd be one that they could put into 4th of July because, and also the one they could put into Civil Servants. He kind of fits into all of them. He fits into 4th of July, he fits into Civil Servants, and he also fits into Legal Eagles. So he's quite a flexible character they could put into either, because of course he is a lawyer, but maybe it would be easier if they put him in 4th of July or something like that, because the DA, District Attorney, of course, quite an important politician. Yeah. Then we have Wallace Bradley, Brady, Wallace Brady, of course, apparently he's a lawyer himself, so there you go. We have Ralph Nader, again, I think he's the lawyer as well. I'm not too sure where these characters come from, to be honest. Lionel Hutz, of course everyone knows Lionel Hutz, and Lionel Hutz is probably the big one out of all this. He's the one I definitely want to see. They probably will never add a Lionel Hutz, because we talked about it before, the fact that with the whole Phil Hartman thing, and well, he's murdered by his wife, so we'll probably never see Lionel Hutz, unfortunately. But he is a cool character, and he's one I would like to see, maybe, eventually, at least. It would be kind of cool to see Lionel Hutz, but I just feel like they will never add him. I don't know. Maybe like when chapter comes to an end, they might throw it in, but I kind of doubt they will. Whatever. Then we have Clarice Dremond. I think she represented Homer. I think when Homer was in court, she was Homer's attorney for a bit, or lawyer for a bit, which is kind of cool. They could, I think Wallace was as well, actually, someone's attorney. But yeah, they could throw her in there as well. And then finally we have Hillary Clinton. Why not? Of course she can't go into the 4th of July. I guess she could go into the 4th of July, potentially. That would have been interesting if they did that for 4th of July. They gave us some political candidates from the 2016 election. But Hillary Clinton, of course, was a lawyer before she became a senator, was a governor in New York, and then she became Secretary of State. I don't know, I think it's governor in New York, something in New York anyway, whatever. She became something, but before that she was a lawyer, I believe. So she could be thrown into this category, I guess. But in some ways, I don't. Well, maybe they probably never had her either, to be honest. Anyway, finally we have judges. So the main judge, the big judge that I think everyone kind of wants, is Judge Constantine Harm. Of course, she was in the episode where Bart was seen as guilty after he him and Milhouse caused some ruckus. And Milhouse got let off, but then Judge Snyder had to go on vacation. So Judge Harm was here, and she obviously was being a bit of a bitch. Let's just say it. And she obviously was quite mean, and talking about and Homer and Marge not being good parents and stuff like that. So she's there. She's an okay lawyer. She's been seen a few times in the background. She's also I think she's also transgender because she used to be a guy. So there you go. Perfect character they can add. They can throw in. I would like to see her out of all of them. Probably everyone in this. It's probably Lionel Hutz I'd want to see the most, and then her. I think she's important. Then we have Jeanette Reno. She's another judge. I don't know if she's a parody of someone or if she's actually a real judge in real life. Not too sure, but there she is as well. She's of course a judge, and she's also a lawyer. I want to say she's also a lawyer and a judge apparently. So there you go. She could do either. Then we have Judge Muntz, which of course is Nelson's grandfather and Eddie Muntz's dad. Very important. Of course he is. Well, he's a judge. There you go. And plus it would be completing part of the Nelson family as well. So, would be kind of cool to see Judge Muntz. Then we have just this female judge, another kind of background character. She's seen one episode, not really that important. Then we have the head judge again, another background character, not that important. And then we have Judge Potato Head, which is one I definitely want to see. I really was hoping he might be added into St. Patrick's Day, of course. He is a judge in Ireland, because of course the whole potato thing in Ireland. Irish people love potatoes. So they have a judge as a potato head. No, they have a potato head judge. No, no, I'm joking. But yeah, very funny character, very amusing character. Of course, he's a talking potato head who's the judge in Ireland, in Dublin. I think it's Dublin. And of course, he nearly is going to prosecute. Well, he prosecutes Homer and Bart. No, Homer and Grandpa even, and basically says that you need to be collected by Chief Wiggum. And I think it'd be a kind of cool character they could throw into St. Patrick's Day maybe one year. I'd like to see him. I don't know about copyright issues because it might be bit weird. It might be a bit tricky because it technically isn't like a direct. It's not like it's actual Mr. Potato Head. It's Judge Potato Head. So I'm not too sure. Maybe there'll be a problem there. Maybe there won't be. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. So, any ones that you think that I missed in this Legal Eagles thing, please do tell me. Any categories you want to see in Barflies or Legal Eagles, of course, they're the two that we completed today. So they're all the people that they need to add to Barflies and Legal Eagles to complete them. Just to go over them, Sam and Larry are the only two that I really want to see in Barflies, possibly Starl though. Legal Eagles, to be honest, Lionel Hutz I definitely want to see. Possibly Clarice, possibly her, and the DA, of course. I wouldn't mind seeing the DA, but out of all of them, Lionel Hutz and Judge Constantine Harm, and maybe Judge Muntz and Potato Head as well. The others I'm not too bothered about. But there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next video. And next time we will be doing one of them anyway will be Wise Guys. I don't know what the other one will be, but we'll be doing Wise Guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.